and welcome to another episode of Healthy Home Cooking. Today we're going to make steak burritos. These are burritos that my kids absolutely devour. The first thing you want to do is to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're going to make our own taco seasoning. To do this, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Notice how carefully I measure. A little extra spice never hurt anybody. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. Excuse me, make that 1 tablespoon of ground cumin. 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. I prefer using arrowroot. You can also use potato starch if you'd rather use that. They all work basically the same. Then 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And that's followed by 1½ teaspoons of smoked paprika. And 1 teaspoon of ground coriander. Now, if you like a little spice in your life, feel free to add a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper. My family does not do spice very well, and they prefer if I do not add it, so I will not be adding that to my recipe. Stir up these spices and then set it aside for later. Here I have 3 pounds of stew meat that I'm going to cut up for these burritos. If you don't like beef or you have somebody with an allergy, you can also make it with pork, which I have done before and the boys love. You could probably also use chicken or turkey. I have not used those, but I can't see why they wouldn't work as well. What I usually do is I take the pieces of stew meat and then I cut them into bite-sized pieces to fit into the burritos a little bit easier. I like to make them about a ½ inch cube. If you like them bigger, that's up to you. They're your burritos. Do as you wish. Last piece, and I still have all 10 of my fingers in good working order. That's always a good thing. Now it's time to cook the meat. You're going to take 2 sticks of butter and melt them in a big pan. There goes 1. It always helps to turn the pan on, of course. And here's the second one. Now wait until both of those sticks melt, and then we can go on to the next step. Now that the butter is all melted, take the taco seasoning you made, and you're going to dump that in and give it a good stir. Once that's fully incorporated, and mine's going to take another stir or 2. We're going to add all of the meats. And here we go. Now once the meat's in, I usually leave it cook for a little while, and then I come over and stir it so more can get closer to the bottom of the pan where the heat's the hottest, and keep repeating until the meat is fully cooked. While the meat is cooking, get some whole wheat tortillas. Well, if you don't want to use whole wheat, you don't have to. But I use whole wheat 8-inch tortillas, and I just place them out on the counter to get them ready to be filled. Maybe we can even speed up the process. Here I go, supersonic speed. Yoo-hoo! And there. So we ended up with 20 tortillas. On those tortillas, we are going to put some refried beans. Okay, now for the refried beans. I have 2 cans of regular refried beans, and then I have 1 can that I'm using up that is refried beans made out of black beans. The kids don't care which variety they get, so we're going to mix it up a little bit. So you just put some on each tortilla, and then once you have some on each tortilla, what you're going to do is you're going to go back and you're going to spread it out. So like it's a big blob of butter, just spread it out all over the tortilla. Remember to periodically check on your meat and give it a stir so you are not burning that. Which is what I'm going to do, and then we can get back to doing the beans. For the next step, we're going to sprinkle a pound of shredded cheese all over the refried beans. You can use a Mexican blend or you can use a cheddar. If you don't like any of that, just choose whatever cheese you like. Don't worry with the beans or the cheese. It doesn't have to be perfect. It'll all taste good just the same. Okay, my meat is ready, so let me get that off the stove. Now the meat has a big broth here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just get the meat and as little of the broth as possible. And I'm going to separate that out onto the 20 tortillas that have been topped with the refried beans and the cheese. I usually start out by putting a skimpy amount on and then end up with a lot in the pan at the end, but that's okay. You can add on to the skimpy ones at any point. Not a big deal. Don't get rid of this. We're going to use it in a little bit. All right, now we're going to roll these up and then we're going to be putting them in our baking dishes. These dishes are the 2 biggest ones that I have in my kitchen, and they each are going to get 10 of these burritos. Here we go. Okay, now the reserve broth that you were making your meat in, we are going to divide that in half over the burritos. So just spread it over, no rhyme, no reason, no pattern, just spread the whole thing over. If you missed a piece of meat like I did, it's not a big deal. I gotta get a better hold of this pan or you're gonna watch me drop it on the floor, which would probably have a lot of entertainment value, but that's not the kind of video I would like to make. So remember, this is the beef juices, the butter, and the taco seasoning. So no need to be precise, no need to measure, just get the job done. And that's about all there is. Next on top, we are going to be using a 10-ounce can of enchilada sauce. 1 can per flat of the burritos. Again, just pour it over, get the extra out, and then repeat with the other dish. Try to keep it all in the dish. And lastly, divide a 8-ounce bag of shredded cheese on top. Again, it can be the Mexican blend, or you can use a cheddar or whatever cheese is your favorite. And there you go. Okay, that's it. Do not cover them with anything. Put them in the 400-degree oven for approximately 10 to 12 minutes. All you need to do is have the cheese melted. So that's what we're going to do. Over to the oven. Thanks for joining me today in learning how to make steak burritos. Please take some time and like, comment, and subscribe our channel. See you later. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Healthy Cooking. Today we are going to make steak burritos.
Sorry, healthy home cooking.
Healthy home cooking. Cooking at home healthy.
Okay.
Healthy home cooking,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Here I have 3 pounds of stew meat